everyone, Ann here. Welcome to part 3 of Answers about transfers. In the last video, we talked about creating your list of schools in your application timeline, as well as the first 3 components of the application, such as your test scores and your letters of recommendation. In this video, we're going to dig into the toughest part of the application, the essays and the resume. As I mentioned in the previous video, transferring is really competitive. For instance, if we look at Yale, who gets about 1,000 applications for transfers for 20 spots, that's a 2% acceptance rate. Harvard has a 1% acceptance rate. There just aren't as many spots for transfers as there are for freshmen, so it's really worth your while to make your application sparkle, and we do this through excellent essays and resumes. So as a brief recap, here are the 5 parts of the transfer application: test scores, transcripts, letters of recommendation, essays, and the resume. We took care of the first 3 in the previous video, so now let's dive into the trickiest part, the essays. So first of all, here's what's not going to get your app to the top of any pile. Saying anything along the lines of, "Your school is superior to my current school." Why is this bad? Well, so many reasons, but first, the biggest reason is it says absolutely nothing about you. We want to know about your interests, what you might want to study. We're totally in the dark after reading that sentence. Second, it sounds an awful lot like pandering and that maybe you only care about the name brand of the school. That's certainly not going to inspire the AdCom to give you one of their coveted spots. Third, it sounds pretty negative, and that's not the tone we want to go for. So how do we fix this? Here are the 3 things that we need to see come across in those essays. First, positivity. It's easy to start focusing on what you don't like about your current school, why you're unhappy, but we need to avoid those negative sentences and move past them to talk about what's making you super excited about applying to this new school and why this new one will make you happier. 2, your interests. Since you've had an entire semester or maybe more of colleging to ponder this, the transfer app is going to expect a much stronger stance on what you want to study. You might still be undecided for a major, which is fine, but let's pick 1 or 2 departments at this new school and really explain why those jump out to you as the ones you might want to study. 3, showing your growth is going to be a key part of what's going to transform your essay from a decent one to one that flies off the page and astounds the AdCom with its brilliance. Recycling a freshman essay would never work, no matter how good it was, because we want to know what's different about you between then and now. What new things have you learned about your working style, your passions and career goals, and what you need out of college to succeed? Alright friends, those are a few ideas to get you started on the essays. Now, let's move into activities, or better known as the resume. Do you remember how much emphasis they put on activities for your freshman app? Editor-in-chief of the yearbook, football captain, part-time superhero. Yeah, for the transfer app, well, we're definitely going to bring those high school activities back because they're still relevant, and we also want to talk about how you've gotten involved in your current school. But the thing about transferring is that, well, if you're unhappy, it's possible you might not have found a bunch of extracurriculars that you like at your current college. Don't let a light list of activities dissuade you from transferring to your dream schools. I personally was only rocking 1 activity when I applied to transfer. Instead, I killed it with my classes, which led to great grades, good recs, and I worked really hard on my application essays. And I got into my top choice. The bottom line is, if you're unhappy at your school and you want to transfer, it follows that you might not be super involved. The number 1 priority for your app is showing strong academic performance and a solid discussion of what you need out of your new school. Sound like a plan? Alright, I'll see you next time for the often forgotten step of transferring, how to make that decision after you press submit. See you next time.